Hey, good Thursday morning, everybody. Meteorologist Greg Majewski back with you here in the North Georgia Majestic Weather Studios with the Weather Report, the North Georgia edition, exclusively for you Facebook subscribers and YouTube members here on your February the 19th, 2026. It also happens to be my last update of the week because I'm going to be taking a little bit of a break here going down to Florida for the weekend. So we're going to go ahead and make this your free sampler Friday, even though it's Thursday. You get the drift. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into what we're seeing. As you can see there, the live look up in Blairsville this morning. Got a shower moving through the area this morning, and we could see some spotty showers today. Nothing too widespread, nothing that's going to last long. We're going to still have the mostly cloudy conditions, some filtered sunshine, and some unseasonably warm weather. We're still tracking the potential for a few hefty thunderstorms blowing through with the cold front, and boy, is it going to be much colder next week. But the good news is it's not going to last very long. All right, so anyway, let's go ahead and get into this update here again as we take a look at our radar here. No real weather features to kind of show you across the southeast, but obviously see some of that rain there up across northeast Georgia falling. Temperatures only in the mid-50s, so very warm start, even 61 over there near Rome. So it is or Calhoun, I should say, a very warm start here across the southeast, and we're going to see temperatures well into the 70s despite the cloud cover today. You would think, the clouds will keep the temperatures down a little bit. Well, not so much for today. It's going to be a warm and balmy day, not only for today, but tomorrow as well. Now, nothing across the southeast to worry about as far as watches and warnings are concerned for the moment. And like I said, we're still tracking that rain there across the northeast Georgia and still some back over in Alabama into Tennessee. Now, as far as that severe weather threat, okay, this is a marginal. We're only talking about a low-level risk here. So we're talking about level 1 here. All right, so we're talking about areas here in North Georgia here. So, again, a lot of northwest Georgia here, not quite into eastern Georgia. This is East Georgia over here. Here's Atlanta down here. So this is a marginal risk. So strong gusty winds, maybe an isolated severe thunderstorms, some brief heavy rains, lightning. That's going to be your main threat there. And this will drift to the south as we go into Saturday. So by the time we get to Saturday, it's just a general threat here as the cold front shifts to the south and bumps into that warmer air to the south. That'll be down basically from metro Atlanta southward as we go into your Saturday. So watching for that for Friday, going into Saturday with a few embedded thunderstorms potential there. Again, nothing widespread. I'm not really not expecting a big deal out of this particular situation in this setup. All right. So let's go ahead and get into the model data here. We're going to look here at the North American model. We're looking at the 84-hour one. It's going to take us out here for the majority of this event coming up here for this upcoming weekend. All right, so we're going to have it coming a little way. You got some spattered showers here for today, but we're waiting for that frontal system to come in here as we go into Friday. So you see the rain's kind of picking up there across Tennessee, stretching back in Alabama as this front starts to move on in. It's going to be kind of, and not a big hurry to kind of blow on through, because once that initial rain moves on through on Friday, later down Friday, we get a little bit of a break. And then we'll get some more coming at us here going into Saturday. So Saturday will clear on through. And then once that does, look at that blue line. That's our cold line. Boy, it's getting cold going into Sunday. We'll have some much colder temperatures here kind of diving in here across North Georgia. Yeah, see a little bit of snow over there in the Carolinas. But again, a bit cold, but going to be kind of frigid. And it looks like Monday, Tuesday morning will be our coldest mornings before we see temperatures rebound going into the middle of next week. Now, rainfall amounts on the NAM have not been that impressive. They kind of backed off here. It looks, I think this might be a tad underdone, but I still think generally looking at a ½ inch to 3/4 inch rainfall totals here across North Georgia. It really kind of depends on the timing and the firing of those thunderstorms. A few of them that'll be in there. Obviously, if you get a thunderstorm, your rainfall amounts may be a little bit higher. But again, I think about a ½ inch to 3/4 inch looks like that's a pretty good safe bet here across our area going in through the weekend. All right, let's go look at the temperature here as I pull back out here to the state view. Don't worry so much about the temperatures here for this. This is a little underdoing as far as the temperatures for today. But what I want to show you here as I put this into motion is just kind of showing you the cold air that's going to be moving on in. Notice all the southeast all covered in the oranges and reds. That's your balmy temperatures out there. But we're going to be bringing in this cold front here. You see it racing in from the west going through Friday. So as that front comes in here, it's going to get hung up a little bit. You see it kind of get pushed back here a little bit, and a little bit of wave going to form along that front and wait for it to come on through going into Saturday. So very sharp dividing line with that front. I mean, boy, you can see it showing up very nicely. Look at that. This very sharp as the temperatures drop off there going into Saturday, and then going into Sunday, the real cold stuff will settle on in here going into early next week. Now, as far as the European model, remember what I was telling you guys yesterday. I always tell folks this. We can get an idea for about 7 days how things are going. Anything beyond a 7-day is kind of projection. And one thing that was showing yesterday, the European was showing another cold shot coming down on the 1st. And then there was a big thing about, some cold air and and it was going out trying to kick out a snowstorm across the southeast in March. It's no longer there. It's gone, and there's a reason for that. Again, we're just kind of looking at the continuity here. One thing we got pretty good lock on is what's going to happen this upcoming weekend or going into next week. We got ridging out in the west, which is bringing us a northwest flow, and that's going to bring us down the colder air into the southeast as we go into Sunday and Monday of next week. And that trough's going to get even deeper. Watch as I go forward here on this. Again, it gets a little deeper, it gets a little sharper going into Monday. So the eastern third is going to be colder, warmer out in the west. And then this is going to move on out, and as it does so, we'll see things begin to settle in. So it looks like we're going to stay a little unsettled there going in toward Wednesday. And then the main jets will off to the north. So what that means for us is above normal temperatures is going to continue right into the month of March. And looks like we'll see how this thing lines up for the severe weather season, especially since we're starting to see the La Nina pretty much dead going into a neutral phase. And we'll see how that impacts our severe weather season. Because typically when you're in a neutral phase, you tend to have a little more active severe weather here across the country. So we're going to watch that very, very closely. See a little cutoff low here on the across the southwest. All right. So let's go look at the 500 millimar anomaly map. This is a great tool here. You can kind of see exactly where the storm systems are. You see that blue area there? That's our little storm coming in, or cold air coming in for this upcoming weekend, going into Sunday, Monday. You see that thing getting stronger here across the east, going into Monday. So this is where the cold air is going to be settling on in. See it kind of moving on right in here across the eastern half of the United States, warm and mild out in the west. And then as this moves on out, you'll see things kind of settle. Still a little bit unsettled there across the Great Lakes going into the 26th and 27th. But generally that looking fairly quiet. Zonal flow and no big storm systems. There's that pinch off across the southwest. But again, that big dip in the jet stream we were showing yesterday, no longer there. That's why we say we're looking for model continuity. If it locks into a continuity, then as the time frame gets shorter, then the error rate goes away. But right now, all we're tracking is the one cold shot, not two, just one, going in for this upcoming weekend. All right, so let's go look here at the precipitation map here. Again, we're watching this go on through, watching that go on there. There's one wave, there's the second wave. Again, the NAM and European lining up pretty good there. Then we got the cold air coming on in here. And it's going to be cold, especially going into Monday morning. Monday's going to have a little more wind around, so the wind chill is going to be a factor on Monday. I'll show you that here in a second. This is going to linger right into Tuesday as well. So we still got the blue lines, that freezing line still down to our south. You see it right through here. So still looking pretty cold there across North Georgia. But as we go into next week, that blue line moves on out. We'll see things begin to improve. And a little unsettled weather coming into Thursday. Looks like some needed rains there on Thursday of next week. So we're going to go out 7 days on this model here because, again, anything beyond 7 days is pretty much you're kind of a guessing match at that point. But it looks like our next rain event is coming in next Thursday. All right, so it's good to get these rain events a little bit closer. We definitely could use the rainfall here as we continue to fight the drought conditions across the state. And the new drought index update will be released today, so we'll get an idea if anything's changed much. I doubt it's changed a whole lot from last week to this week. All right, now as far as the next 10-day rainfall totals, this is promising. This is the next 10 days totality of those two events here. You're looking at widespread 2-inch plus rainfall here across Alabama and Georgia. That would be a big plus to help us out in the rainfall department in that area. Now, as far as the temperatures are concerned, let's talk about this. We're going to focus in here on this weekend. This is Sunday morning. Temperatures here on the European model, again, showing 29 up there in Blairsville, 30s here coming in the metro area Atlanta. It's also going to be windy on Sunday too. You're going to have some wind out there to have to deal with there. Look at your wind chills here dropping into the 20s and teens because of the wind coming in. And it's going to be kind of a raw day there on Sunday. Look at these temperatures here as I take it into the afternoon hours here, 4 o'clock. You're still holding the 30s up here across North Georgia. A lot of areas here in the mid-40s for afternoon highs there on your Sunday. Very, very cold day. And then going into your Monday morning, again, you got 20s and 30s out there. You throw in that wind factor, and it feels like 9 in Blairsville, 17 over there in Cartersville, near 20 near Metro Atlanta. So it's going to be very cold. And the fact we've been so warm is going to feel even colder for you there. So this is going in for a Monday. And I think Tuesday will probably be our coldest morning because we'll have no wind. We'll have pretty good radiational cooling there on that day. And look at these widespread mid-20s here all the way down to Metro Atlanta. 20s way down south, down here towards south central Georgia. So very, very cold here across the area. Still a little bit of wind, not not much, just a little bit, and that'll make it feel like the teens there for a lot of locations, but not a big wind threat there going in on your Tuesday. And then your Tuesday afternoon, again, temperatures here mostly in the 40s here, showing up in the European on the Tuesday. And then going into Wednesday, looks like not as cold. Notice we're in the 30s there on Wednesday. And then afternoon highs coming back into the 50s. So we expect the temperatures to rebound as we go toward the middle of next week. Let's wrap things up by looking at the climate outlook. And again, this is pretty much not going to change much here. Despite the fact we got a brief cool down here, you're still going to see the 6 to 10 day here, the totality of the period showing above normal temperatures there. And that'll continue straight into March as we go from the 26th of February through the 4th of March with above normal across a big portion of the country. The 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook, well, a little promising, I guess. It's got us a little bit above normal here across North Georgia. We'll take it. Not going to complain there. Again, that's going from the 24th to the 28th, and then showing this again going from the 26th to the 4th with above normal here across North Georgia. Again, we'll definitely take it. Well, we're going to need some help, get those lakes recharged a little bit, and beat back the drought conditions across our area. Well, again, I appreciate you guys checking us out here for today. Yours truly is going to be taking a little bit of a break. Need to. Been working very hard to get this channel going. We're getting closer and closer. Next week will be some equipment orders, updating cameras and stuff, and hopefully get my green wall ready to go for severe weather season. I'm working on the weather app. We got a new web page that's going to be redesigned. So again, making this thing a true professional operation. I want to thank the subscribers and members out there being part of this effort, who are giving their small cash here to help us pay, especially those data fees when we got to pay that for the weather computers. Are kind of expensive. And hey, since this is a free sampler Friday, if you'd like to become a Facebook subscriber or a YouTube member, please go ahead and consider becoming part of our family. I'll be your own personal weatherman. I can answer your questions. You get behind the scenes looks of what we're trying to do here to build out this professional weather channel. All right, that's it for now. You guys take it easy. Be good. Stay safe. Have a great weekend. I'm telling you that now. And I will be back here on my normal broadcast on Monday. All right, you guys take it easy. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.